The kind of men that really scare women aren't the ones you think. It's not the loud or aggressive types, those are predictable. Most women know how to handle or avoid them. The men who genuinely unsettle women are something else entirely. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that looks like because if this is you, you need to own it. Now, I'm a woman. So when I tell you this, know that I'm confessing something we don't say out loud. The men who scare us, who make us uncomfortable in a way we can't quite explain, are the ones we can't control. And that's not a criticism, that's power. Because women fear men they can't manipulate, can't read, can't sway. And if you're that man, you're doing something right. So let me break down the 5 types of men that actually unsettle women. And I'm grouping them by what they have in common. Because once you see the pattern, you'll understand exactly why this dynamic exists. First, let's talk about the emotionally unreadable type. These men don't react how most people expect. You can't guilt them. You can't manipulate them. You can't read them. That unpredictability, that calm, detached confidence unnerves women who are used to being able to sway emotional dynamics. You see, most men are emotionally reactive. They get defensive. They try to explain themselves. They seek approval. But this man, he doesn't bite. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't need to justify or defend, and that throws women off. Because emotional manipulation only works when the other person cares about your emotional state more than they care about their own boundaries. But this man doesn't, and that scares us. Now, here's the second type in this category: the man who sees through bullshit instantly. The ones who don't fall for emotional games, performative vulnerability, or manipulation. These guys cut right through the facade. And that can feel threatening because it exposes the gap between who someone pretends to be and who they really are. When a woman tries to test you, when she throws out bait to see if you'll react, and you just don't, that's unsettling because it means you see the game and you're not playing. Most men don't even realize they're being tested. But this man, he knows, and he doesn't engage. And that level of awareness is intimidating because it means she can't hide. Now tell me, have you noticed women react this way to you? Drop a comment and let me know. Because I know some of you have experienced this without realizing what was happening. Now let's talk about the second group, and this is the one that really gets under our skin. The self sufficient man. He doesn't need women, not sexually, not emotionally, not for validation. That kind of independence strips away a lot of power that comes from being desired or needed. Women can respect it, but it also scares us because it means we have no leverage. You see, most relationships operate on a certain level of need. He needs her for something, she needs him for something, and that mutual need creates balance. But when a man genuinely doesn't need a woman, when he's complete on his own, that flips the power dynamic. Because now she has to bring something to the table beyond just existing. And that's uncomfortable because it forces accountability. And here's the thing: women fear men they can't control. And you can't control a man who doesn't need you. That's the ultimate independence because neediness is how people get controlled. And this man doesn't have it, so he's untouchable. Now let's talk about the third group. And this one's primal: the man with quiet dominance. Not the loud alpha talker, the still one. The kind who commands respect without saying much. Women feel that presence in their gut. It's primal. It's not about control, it's about energy, and it triggers something deeper than logic. This man doesn't need to announce his power. He doesn't need to dominate conversations or prove himself. He just is. And that stillness, that quiet confidence, is magnetic and unsettling at the same time. Because most men are performative. They're trying to be alpha, they're trying to be dominant. But this man, he doesn't try, he just embodies it. And that's terrifying because it's real. And real power can't be faked. Women fear men they can't control. And you can't control a man who doesn't need to perform because his power isn't external, it's internal. And that makes him unshakable. Now, look, if you want to become this kind of man, if you want the right mindset, the physical and mental shape to embody this level of power, we cover all of that in our weekly newsletter. Practical tips to stay strong, grounded, and undeniable after 60. The link's in the description. It's free, and it's built for men who refuse to be anything less than powerful. All right, let's talk about the final type. And this is the ultimate power move. The man who can walk away easily. That's the scariest. When a man won't beg, won't chase, won't fold under emotional pressure, that's terrifying to anyone who's used to controlling dynamics through attention or affection. You see, most men will do anything to keep a woman interested. They'll compromise, they'll sacrifice, they'll bend, but this man, he won't because he knows his value. And he knows that chasing only lowers it, so he doesn't. And when a woman realizes she can't control him through withdrawal or emotional manipulation, she's unsettled because that's her last card. And if it doesn't work, she has nothing. Women fear men they can't control. And you can't control the man who's willing to walk away because that means he values himself more than he values your approval. And that's rare and powerful. And yes, scary. Now, let me be clear. This isn't a license to be cruel. This isn't about being cold or dismissive or treating women like they're disposable. It's about being grounded, about being secure, about not needing validation from anyone to feel whole. The men who scare women aren't the toxic ones. They're the ones who are so solid in themselves that manipulation doesn't work. Emotional games don't land. Neediness doesn't exist. And walking away isn't a threat, it's just an option. And here's the deeper truth. Women fear men they can't control. Not because those men are dangerous, but because they force us to face our own loss of power. And deeper than that, our own vulnerability. Because when you can't manipulate someone, you have to be real with them. And that's uncomfortable. It requires honesty, accountability, vulnerability. And most people aren't ready for that. So if you're this kind of man, if women have reacted to you with discomfort, with confusion, with a mix of respect and unease, own it. Because that's not a weakness. That's strength. That's power. That's you being so grounded that the usual games don't work on you. And if you're not this man yet, but you want to be, start with the fundamentals. Build emotional control. Become self-sufficient. Develop quiet confidence. And practice being willing to walk away. Because when you master those, you become the man women can't control, and that's magnetic. Now, have you noticed women react this way to you? Drop a comment and let me know, because I know some of you are living this and didn't even realize it was a thing. And if you're serious about becoming this kind of man, if you want the mindset, the physical shape, the mental clarity to embody this level of power, we break it all down in our weekly newsletter. The link's in the description. Grab it, because becoming unshakable is a skill, and it's one you can master. Here's the bottom line. The men who scare women aren't the loud ones. They're the calm ones, the self sufficient ones, the ones who see through games, the ones who command respect without trying, and the ones who can walk away without looking back. If that's you, own it. If it's not, build it, because that's real power. And power like that doesn't apologize. Stay grounded, stay powerful, and never be afraid of being the man women can't control. I'm Avery Scott, and I'll see you in the next one.